If this is the first time you're coming across my video, thank you so much for stopping by. Today, we want to talk about how much it costs to get married in Ghana. Yes, don't get me wrong, marriage is very beautiful, but my dear, it is not cheap. And so in this video, I'll break down the cost of different types of weddings in Ghana, including the traditional, the civil, and the religious. Plus, I'll share tips on how to plan your marriage within your budget. I'll be looking down small because I have my notes here. And so if you see me looking down, please don't be offended. I just want to give you accurate and I want to give you vivid information. So it depends on the type of marriage you want to do, the size of the event, and your personal preferences. Someone would want a very big marriage. Someone would want a very small between families. Someone would say, oh, strictly by invitation, I want only 100 guests. Someone would say, I want my whole church, my whole town, my whole village to be in. But ideally, averagely, getting married in Ghana will cost you between 10,000 to 50,000 Ghana cedis. That's with a traditional marriage. In my previous video, we spoke about everything you need to know about traditional marriages. The basic one is to do the traditional marriage. I wouldn't advise that you do the marriage under the ordinance without doing the traditional marriage. So with the traditional marriage, we talk about the dowry, depending on what the father wants. Normally, the dowry is between 1,000 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. I've seen a dowry that is 300 cedis, but sometimes the father will even tell you that, oh, I don't want to charge you, I don't want to give you a list, but one casa will share the worry or bar a baby to bring it. And okay, so basically the father will say, oh, I don't want to charge you, but whatever you think it's good, it's conducive, it's beautiful, it's ideal to marry a woman with, bring it. And when the father of the bride throws this to you, sometimes he leaves you thinking. It doesn't mean she come with your hand and your family and said, oh, the man said I should bring anything. The man said didn't give me anything, and so I've come. No, you have to do your research, know what it entails to marry someone in that particular culture, in that particular family, and bring it. But basically, the dowry is between 1,000 to 5,000. And then there is a customary list. I have a basic list here. Normally, it's clothes. That is 6 pieces of clothes. They tell you to bring 1 dozen of underwear, a shoe, a bag, 1 dozen of handkerchief, some drinks, the bride's father's cloth, and normally it is 1 full piece plus traditional slippers for the bride's father, and then the bride's mother's cloth, that one is half piece. And then you add some envelopes. The envelopes you would require to give the bride price: envelope for the father, envelope for the mother, envelope for the brother-in-laws, and then the family that's set to do the whole program. In some cultures, in the northern part of Ghana, they will tell you to add a livestock, and then in the Volta region, they will tell you to add beads and sometimes gem. So depending on where the lady is coming from, and as I said in my previous video, it is basically the lady's culture that is considered here. It is what the lady's family tells you to bring that is considered here. It is not about what the groom's father thinks. No, it's about what the bride's father is taking, or the person who is representing the bride's father. And so basically, this is the basic list. Sometimes people want to add non-stick utensils, blenders, and all those things. These are things that you would want to add to make your ceremony, to make your occasion beautiful. But basically, from where I'm coming from, accounts, these are the things that you are supposed to buy. Now let's look at other expenses of the ceremony. Some people would want to go and book a venue, which I strongly advise against, because if you want to limit cost, if you want to work within a budget, I don't see why you should go and book a venue. The lady's family house is there. You can even do it at even if the lady's family house is not so much. Okay, you look around in your community, you can get a house that has a little space. You talk to the person. We are Ghanaians, we have that culture, that bond within us. But if you would really want to do it something big, then you can hire a venue. Another cost is decoration. You would also have to pay for decoration. You would also have to pay for food and drinks, music and entertainment, chairs and canopies, and then normally the bridal attire and then some makeup. So these are things that normally are added. But then if you are doing it in the bride's family house or the bride's father's, normally traditional marriage, you do it even in the hall. I don't see why you need the decoration. If you want to consider food, the food normally is for if the groom's family is coming from afar. In my case, when I was getting married, I come from the same town with my husband, and so they didn't travel. And so we didn't really cook for them because we are all in the same vicinity. They just walked from their house to our house and came to do the whole thing. And she but sometimes you can decide to give snacks, that is a malt and then a pie or a drink and a pie to those who sit down to take the whole thing. If you are doing it in the family house, I don't see where decoration comes in. I don't even really see where music and entertainment comes in when it comes to the traditional marriage. So this is something that you should consider. Now, when you go to the civil marriage, that is the marriage under the ordinance, you have to pay a process fee in the court because you are going to file for the ban of notice and all those things. I think in my next video, I'll talk about this traditional marriage and the civil marriage, the differences, and then the processes in the two and what you are supposed to do when it comes to the two. So the process normally takes between 300 to 500 Ghana cedis. It is not something that is so much expensive. You just go to the KMA or you go to the court and then they will process it for you. And then some couples also choose to do refreshments after the civil marriage. After they've signed in the court, they want to do refreshments. That might cost you between 2,000 to 10,000 Ghana cedis. Now, let's talk about the church wedding. I see that most of the cost comes in the church wedding. You would have to decorate the church. Mostly, sometimes people also hire venues for refreshment after the church wedding. And so the decoration in the church normally sometimes basically will cost you between 5,000 to 10,000 Ghana cedis. And then the bridal attire. So if you are doing the traditional marriage and you are doing the court wedding, the church wedding at the same time, you would have to buy your attire for the traditional marriage. And now it's kente. Basically, that is what everyone is doing. You wear your kente. But the cost of the kente itself is around 2,000 plus the person who will sew. If you want beading and all those things, so the traditional dress might cost you between 3,000 to 5,000 Ghana cedis for the bride. Let me put it that way. And then the wedding gown can also cost you between 2,000 to 10,000 Ghana cedis if you want to do it at the church. Now, as I said, one thing that really brings up the cost is the reception, the after church reception. So if you don't want to invest so much in the wedding, you can decide to do your reception at the church. You can decide not to do buffet. You can decide to do a takeaway. You can decide to do drinks and packs. It depends on you. The basic thing is that you cut your coat according to your shirt. So if you decide to hire a venue for your wedding, you are going to pay between 2,000 to 10,000 Ghana cedis, depending on the location. If you marry in the capital city of Ghana, that is Accra, venues for reception really cost. And then catering. I think for food, you can get between 70 Ghana cedis to 150 Ghana cedis per guest, depending on how much you want and then your budget. And then for entertainment, if you want to hire a DJ, you are going to pay between 2,000 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. If you want to hire a live band, that might be between 5,000 to 10,000 Ghana cedis. There are some additional costs. And then the additional cost, let's talk about photography. You would want to keep the memories. And so photography might cost between 2,000 to 8,000 Ghana cedis. If you want him to do for the traditional and then the civil and then the church wedding at the same time, you'd have to pay more. And then you also have to consider honeymoon. Normally people go like, I don't need honeymoon, my dear. Personally, I would advise you go for honeymoon. You know why? The wedding night is a night that you might never have again. You might have other nights, but that feeling on the wedding night is so special. So I would advise that you save some of the cost, the food, the everything. People will come and eat and go, but save some of the money for yourself, for the bride and the groom, to spend that special night together. And honeymoon might cost between 2,000 to 15,000 Ghana cedis, depending on the venue. If you want a beach resort, if you want it glamorous, if you want it, depending on the number of days you would also want to go. I would advise that in all the investments about the program, let the chunk of the money go into the ring, because at the end of the day, the ring is the only thing that you would wear till death do you part, or till you decide to get a divorce, which I know that nobody goes into marriage with the idea that, oh, I will come back. No. And so if you want to get quality ring, that might cost you between 10,000 to 20,000 Ghana cedis for the three, the traditional, as we say, the engagement or the customary ring for the bride, the wedding ring for the bride, and then the wedding ring for the groom. You would have to consider that. Now let's talk about some tips. If you really want to cut down costs, my dear, I would advise that you set a budget. Look at how much you have and then work within your budget. Don't let anybody pressurize you. Your wedding will be the wedding, the talk of the moment for just a while. Someone will come and do more than yours. The most important thing is you are married. And so if you want to spend the chunk of your money, if you have it and you want to do it, that is okay. But my dear, do not go for a loan to do a wedding to impress people. If you can only do the traditional one and go to court and sign and go to church and thank God, that is okay. It's the same thing. If you want to do the traditional one, go to church with two family members from the groom side, two family members from the bride side. So we go to the court with two family members from the groom side, two family members from the bride side. And then on Sunday, you go and thank God. That is basically okay. It depends on you, but set a budget. And then please, let's learn how to prioritize. Know what is important, where to put the money. Oh, I do it's in here, but it's in here, sir. This thing is important, but it's not so much important. If you don't do it, nothing will change. Then you cut some things off and please negotiate. If you talk to a photographer and he says I'm going to charge this amount, talk to another person, negotiate. Don't just stick to one person. That is why you need to plan ahead. If it becomes we have to do it next month, giddy, we don't have time and all those things, you might end up spending more. But if you give yourself about 6 months, then you can have enough time to negotiate and then talk to other vendors. And then please consider using smaller guests. Those who are important is your close family and your closest friends. Ghana, dear, if you give us the chance, you come and eat your food and we go. I've gone to weddings where the couple are in the church doing the wedding and the reception is full. They've not closed from the church, but the venue of the reception is full. People basically decide to come for refreshments, to come for the reception, and not so they are not even concerned about the fact that you are getting married in the church. And the entertainment is important to them more. So please consider using consider using smaller guest lists. So basically, I think that when you decide to get married in Ghana, between 10,000 to 50,000 Ghana cedi, averagely, you can do that, but you have to plan and work within a budget. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. I really hope that this video has helped you. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that. And if you haven't watched the video I did about everything you need to know about traditional marriage, please watch it after this video. And in our next video, we are also going to talk about the difference between the traditional marriage and the civil marriage. If you are interested, please subscribe to my channel and hit on the notification button. And I will definitely see you in the next video. Amen.